I want to say thanks to Coach Sweeney for having the faith in me to give me this great opportunity. Thanks to President Clements and Graham and the rest of Clemson University, and tremendous opportunity, and you guys far away.
What was it like when did he call you? Did he text you? Did he tell you, when he said you're my guy?
Yeah, he was actually, when everything went down, he was in Las Vegas at the Raiders game, and whenever Brent accepted the job, he called me up right away and let me know the plan, and started rolling from there.
Did you do a little run around the house, or how did you react when you hung the phone up?
Yeah, we were really, really excited, and man, unbelievable opportunity, and we're fired up.
Wes, did you have a pretty good idea, like in recent years, that this was going to be the arrangement if and when Brent decided to leave?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I had a great opportunity, and me and Brent have worked great over the years, 7 years together, and have tremendous respect for him, and just came in every day with the mindset that I'm going to learn as much ball as I can from him, and there's so many great examples over the years where it was like we were thinking the same thing at the exact same time, but yeah.
So many Clemson fans know Coach Venables so well. He's just one of those figures that people know. What can you tell them about you? Because maybe they don't know you as well.
Yeah, I'm a football junkie. I love the game. From my very first opportunity at Mississippi State, I've completely immersed myself into trying to learn big picture, learn schemes, learn techniques and fundamentals, and just love being on the field with the players. That's why I got into this profession, to build great men of character through the game of football. And that's the fun part, being around the guys in the locker room every day to me.
Dad told us you started with the baseball team at Mississippi State. Like, I guess, how did you get connected with the football team?
Yeah, growing up, always knew I wanted to coach college football or work in the NFL. Never knew kind of how that would unfold. Had an opportunity growing up to go to Mississippi State. Started as a baseball manager for Ron Polk, legendary baseball coach there, and just had the opportunity to get my foot in the door with football as a student assistant, and Sylvester Kroom was the head coach there, and Woody McCorvey was the offensive coordinator, Ellis Johnson was our defensive coordinator, and just an opportunity to get my foot in the door and just, put my nose down, stayed quiet, and just worked hard every day.
Do you like the nickname Wesleycheck?
So, hey, that started way back in the day at Mississippi State. Hopefully one day, maybe I could be mentioned in the same sentence as Bill Belichick. He's the best of all time. I have so much respect for what he's done over the years, 8 Super Bowls, countless other opportunities and accomplishments. So it's a fun name to be thrown around. Hopefully one day I live up to that.
Wes, there were so many parts of Brent that kind of made him just kind of a force of nature, so many different elements. What do you think is the hardest part to replace? Which element do you think, just walking in his footsteps?
Off the top of my head, nothing really stands out. Every day I'm just going to come in and be myself, from an intensity standpoint, and just being a rah-rah guy. That's probably not me, but I'm going to get, I'm going to get fired up at times. I am very passionate in my own way and that sort of deal. So, but just, I have to come in and be myself and do things how I do them.
Wesley, one of the things that people talk about, you being the right-hand man to Brent, what was your role in terms of every week preparing and helping this team?
Yeah, just scouting report-wise, studying opponents, studying tendencies, anything we could gain from an advantage, and then obviously just schematically, confirming or, discussing ideas and that sort of thing. Just kind of being the leader of the, opponent study and studying personnel, studying tendencies, that sort of deal, and just, I knew his expectations. He lined out and just made sure everybody else did their job, and we all collaborated together, came up with a game plan every week.
Do you feel like he was grooming you along the way, and kind of showed, mentor you a little bit on how to do the game day type stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I think all great coaches are coaches of players and fellow coaches around them, and definitely, you know, we would talk, you know, what he's thinking in this situation, you know, his thoughts about coverages, pressures, that sort of deal, personnel, how to take, you know, matchups and that sort of deal. So just total education of the game, you know, just being in that room every day.
Just in terms of your new role with these bowl practices and lead up, what are your realistic goals and do you hope to learn and accomplish in this time?
Yeah, our goals are the same standard of defense that Coach Swinney, you know, set forth day one, to play defense at a high level. You know, our defense isn't based off of one person. Clemson's defense has always been about players, and you know, our expectations is to continue to play great defense and even try to ramp it up a notch.
I mean, in terms of just doing the day-to-day and you know, game day being DC and stuff like that, what do you want to learn?
Yeah, just you know, taking full control, you know, and just being the guy and running all the situational football and obviously calling the game and just, you know, getting in the flow of game and just, you know, just figuring out who I am as a play caller and running things from the sideline.
Obviously, Christmas Day is a week from today, but will Christmas Day be the 29th for you? And what do you think you'll be feeling pregame?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be well, to go back to your point about Christmas Day is going to be the 22nd before we go down to Orlando.
Right.
So we're not going to haul all our toys down for the girls and whatnot. But yeah, you know, 29th is going to be, my birthday's on the 28th, so I'll turn 37, and then game day on the 29th. So it's going to be an exciting adventure for sure.
You mentioned play call.
Oh, go ahead, John. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned play calling, something you haven't done before. I mean, you kind of knew this might be coming at some point. How have you prepared yourself?
I prepared every day as if I'm the play caller. You know, I would run through games and I would, in my mind, play the game out. You know, I'm going to call this in this situation. That worked. That wouldn't be a great call. So every day for the last 10, 12 years that I've been in this profession, I've always thought big picture, you know, so preparing myself for this moment. So it's been years and years of, you know, time spent studying the game.
Okay. Do you feel like you have something to prove at all? I mean, just because people may not know you've never been a position coach,
Yeah, I mean, my expectations for myself are good enough. You know, I don't have to prove anything to anybody else. You know, I have really high expectations for myself, and that's all that I care about.
Along the play calling, Dabo would tell us that you recognize a play, draw it up. Like, what does that look like in game? How quickly do you recognize concepts, and then would you pass it along to Brent? Like,
Yeah, I mean, we use that for like series adjustments and that sort of deal, but all of that comes through weekly preparation and time spent in the film room. You know, you can tell stuff pre-snap, this, and this are coming. So just, you know, all the preparation element.
Would you be a week ahead, like scouting wise, or would you like cut it back?
Yeah, for the most part, our support staff, they'll work a week or two in advance. So to get everything ready for like, say, coming in on Sunday, like we'll have all of this research done and presented to the staff.
We'd heard that you'd had chances to leave and go other places multiple times. Did you have a sense that at some point in time that this was going to be the route you were going to be able to go and you were going to be able to achieve what you wanted to here?
Yeah, you know, I'm a bloom where I'm planted guy. You know, I'm in no rush to leave a place like Clemson. The people here are unbelievable. You know, it's more about the people than the job to me. You know, and I love this place. I love Coach Swinney. I love everybody in this building. Have great respect for everybody. Great respect for the university. So I'm a bloom where I'm planted guy. So we've set our roots here and plan to be here for the long haul, and just whatever comes.
Are we going to see a lot of similarities to what Brent did, or are you going to put your stamp on some things? And I guess what are going to be some of the similarities and what are going to be some of the differences?
Yeah, philosophically, we're both very aggressive. You know, I want to take the fight to the offense and be very aggressive, play calling wise, and so philosophically, we're very similar. Obviously, I'll put my stamp on it. Some great concepts that I've learned from other other places I've been, and continue to grow our scheme and trying to stay at the forefront of college football.
Wes, what were some of the biggest takeaways you maybe learned from under your time under Bruce Arians and kind of lead you up into that point now?
Yeah, BA is one of the best coaches I've ever been around. Just an unbelievable guy, very genuine, down to earth, very well liked and respected by players in that locker room. Just being myself. Don't try to be anybody else. Just be myself. He's, when he would always come into the building, he spoke to everyone, made everyone feel welcome. Genuinely cared about everybody. So that's probably the biggest thing that I took away from my time with him.
So a lot of blitzes.
Yeah, definitely. No risk it, no biscuit, right? That's what his favorite saying.
Yeah, exactly. From a recruiting standpoint, that's something that you've been kind of behind the scenes. Maybe you haven't done as much of that. How comfortable are you with going into recruits' home and saying, "Hey, this is why you need to come to Clemson"?
Yeah, very, very comfortable with that. Obviously, I haven't spent much time out on the road, but just being able to paint a vision for this is what it's going to look like. And recruiting is just about relationships. At the end of the day, building that relationship, building the credibility and rapport with the players and that sort of deal. So, you do that every day, and recruiting takes time, a lot of investment, just nobody's going to outwork me kind of mentality that I have. So just continuing to develop those relationships for into young people.
So you're excited, you're embracing it.
Yeah, definitely. So this is a great opportunity. Everybody works for these opportunities and they come at different times. So you just prepare for these opportunities, and when it's your time, next man up.
Coach, what were your players' reactions when they heard the news? Did they kind of feel like it was coming already beforehand?
They were fired up and excited. So that's the thing that means the most to me is the players in this locker room. All of them are all in, committed. We haven't lost anybody since that news. So that's really been a special deal for me.
How did Coach Sweeney tell the players? I think he said that it might have been kind of a special moment where he kind of told them. What do you remember from when you were introduced?
Yeah, they were fired up. So
I guess, did he just say Wes is the guy? What did he say? What do you remember from the day?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to elaborate on team meetings and stuff like that. That goes to Coach Sweeney. So, but they're excited and ready for this opportunity.
Wes, when you heard Brent got the job, like that moment, were you thinking to yourself, I'm probably the guy? Like, what was going through your mind? Or were you thinking, not sure? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I was just waiting on the phone call.
You thought it was that you were...
I was good either way. So, I was just waiting to talk to both of them to see how things unfolded.
Do you have a photographic memory for sure? Or
that's what they say. So.
Do you?
I don't know if I've been clinically diagnosed with that, but so
I don't know. Sign stealing.
So that's not my job description.
But that's like one of the things that all the people that work with you say, that you just have the ability to see pretty much all 11 or all 22 what they've done and diagram it a second later. When did you notice that you had that gift? How'd you feel
I guess probably kind of in 2009 when I came here, the way that we kind of structured things defensively, and just kind of some of the stuff that I did on game days then just kind of prepared me for that.
Wes, you were able to sign your first recruit in Wade Woodaz. I guess now you can talk about him now that he's signed. I mean, what can you just say about what he brings to the linebacker room and how excited you are to get him in here?
Oh, I'm fired up about Wade. I mean, he's definitely a Clemson kid. He's exactly what we want from a program standpoint. Just an unbelievable family, hard worker, smart, tough, savvy, physical, intelligent, plays fast and violent. He's long, He's going to fit right in with the linebacker group. All those kids are great kids and unselfish and just an overall team guy. So we're fired up to have him.
Coach, obviously coached defensive backs before. How have you prepared to coach linebackers, and what will that be like for you, kind of adding that position group?
Well, I've been around linebackers since I started day one, probably more so than I have defensive backs. So just I've always learned linebackers is the glue to the defense. So the front end ties in with the back end. And so just, day one, when I got my foot in the door in football, I was with the linebackers with Ellis Johnson, Kevin Steele, Carl Torbush, obviously BB being linebackers coach. I've worked with all those guys and had the opportunity to work in the secondary as well, Arizona briefly, and so just understanding how all the run fits and the coverages all tie in together. You know, I think linebackers and safeties, there's a lot of carryover.
And those are all good linebacker coaches. And then you added Ted Roof to it this year.
Yeah.
Maybe what's one big thing that you've taken from some of those guys? You're like, man, this is really something that I've latched onto.
It's about the players at the end of the day. You know, you can be the greatest coach in the world, but if you don't have players that can go out there and execute at a high level and play fast and violent, and schemes and techniques are worthless.
Coach, speaking of that, we've heard for a long time that Skowski's like a coach on the field. How much is having a guy like him on the field for this bowl game, especially with this transition and the communication, help with that?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. Like, Skowski and I have a great relationship, a lot of respect for each other, and just being able to gauge, you know, what we're doing schematically and, you know, the feeling of building, that sort of deal. He's been invaluable to the process for sure.
How important has it been to have so many of these guys out here? A lot of opt-outs in college football, but you've got a pretty full roster to work with.
Yeah, it definitely so, and that's a testament to our program that Coach Swinney's built. You know, the players that we want. That, you know, I know he talks it. We use all in all the time, but honestly, these guys are complete program guys, completely committed. So that's just a testament to the players that we brought into our program and the standard that's been set forth by Coach Swinney.
I'm sorry you've been asked about this before, but obviously when you went to Mississippi State, you were a baseball guy. I guess what's kind of your background there, and then why ultimately did you decide to switch to football?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I knew I wanted to be involved collegiately or at the professional level in football. And that was just the opportunity that I had to get my foot in the door into college athletics. And then once I started with baseball, had the opportunity to transition over into football. And so here we are now.
And it's not, I mean, managers obviously have to do a lot of things that aren't necessarily considered glamorous. I guess what did those experiences, you know, and that role teach you for right now?
Yeah, I think it teaches you to appreciate everybody's role in the building. You know, whether you're the head coach, you're the janitor, you're the equipment manager, the trainer, everyone's role in the organization is very important. And everyone wants to be appreciated. And, you know, those types of roles, you know, they don't get all the publicity that I'm getting now, but they're just as valuable. And so that's probably the biggest thing that I learned from that experience.
Coach, how about your interaction with the players? Brent was always such a fiery guy. Is that necessary? Will you feel like a need to do a little bit of that more?
Not necessarily. I think all our guys are highly self-motivated players, and you know, everyone has their way of reaching guys and motivating, whether it's out of love or fear, you know, that sort of deal. You know, I have my ways of connecting and just be myself.
Yeah, and if you change, you know, you're not a genuine guy, right?
So, no.
So you want me to get that guy?
No. So, not to say I won't get out on the field, but so.
Wes, sorry if you've been asked this already, but what do you think about this Wesley nickname that's been thrown around about you?
Oh, so man, I have such great respect for Coach Belichick and all that he's accomplished, and hopefully one day I can live up to that nickname.
Yeah.
But just to even be mentioned in that same breath is truly an honor.
Yeah.
So.
Who first called you that? Or where'd that come from?
I'm pretty sure it was Ron Holland at Mississippi State. He's now with the New York Giants as Joe's right-hand man out there.
Did you yell that out on a practice field one day, or just in the office?
Around the office.
Okay.
So.
What'd you think when you first heard that?
I thought, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
So it was like four Super Bowls before, I guess less than.
I don't know.
You probably know. You're the one with
So, he's got 8, right?
Yeah.
Six as a head coach, 2 as an assistant. Lost a couple.
Dabo said that Brent was trying to take you to Norman. What position were y'all talking about there?
I mean, it wasn't the defensive coordinator and linebackers job at Clemson. So.
What do you remember, I guess almost exactly 10 years ago, think you're GA at the time when West Virginia put 70 on Clemson. Just what do you remember about that game?
I've tried to bury that game as far from my memory as possible, but football is like life. Obviously, the best teaching moments are when things go wrong, and just so much to learn from that game, and just, you know, whether it was preparation leading up to the game or maybe how we did things defensively, but just a great learning experience for some ways to do things different.
Do you feel like Clemson is, because I think a lot of Clemson fans see that game as the game that obviously got Brent hired. Do you think Clemson's on this trajectory that they're on without that loss?
I mean, we obviously were recruiting well, starting the foundation with Coach Sweeney, and had great players coming into the program. I'm trying to think who we were recruiting at the time, but, you know, Clemson's about a program, not necessarily a defense. It's about Coach Sweeney's vision, and then everyone in the building, player-wise, going and executing that vision. So it's more than a coach, more than a scheme. It's a vision and buy-in from our players. This game's all about players. Like any other business in life, you're going to win with the people. And you know, it's about the players and Coach Sweeney's vision.
What about when you were interim coach for that Peach Bowl against LSU? Was that kind of a baptism by fire for you?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So I think they had some great players on that team. Their whole defense, probably first or second round draft picks, Landry, Odell Beckham, Jeremy Hill. They had a tremendous roster, but that was so much fun. You know, probably the first time where I felt like, hey, you know, I can go do this at a high level, and just having the guys buy in during that time was an unbelievable experience. One that I'll never forget. I got Catton's arrows kicked on my wall at home. That's how special it is.
Not Nuke's catch, just the kick?
Yeah, just the kick.
I know you said that you wanted to put roots down here, but the draw of the NFL, how strong has that been, and how have you kind of avoided it?
I mean, I'm a small town guy, so this is like paradise to me. The lakes, the mountains, big time college football, it doesn't get any better than that to me.
So, but Dabo said you've had job offers from the NFL. Were they not quite tempting enough?
I'm here, right? but yeah.
Coach, two, three more for Wes.
Coach, do you feel like you're kind of in the middle of a feel-good story and an underdog story, considering where you came from?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is for sure a dream job, but I think this program, from Coach Sweeney on down, have been built with guys that have had chips on their shoulder, or maybe overlooked, or whatever. Somebody's had to take a risk on them. So, you know, that's kind of how I see Clemson being built along the way. A lot of guys, but a lot to prove.
Dabo mentioned you sort of being able to see a player formation, just break things down immediately and know what everybody, what defense is supposed to be running, where people are supposed to be. Is that just formed over your years of coaching, or is your mind just always kind of worked like that?
Yeah, just a lot of hard work over the years, and, you know, just studying the game, you know, visiting with staffs around the country, and always talking ball, finding out ways how to do things better, that sort of deal. So just a lot of preparation and time over the years, and learning from some of the greatest minds in the game.
You already talked about this, you can define, but just your relationship with Coach Khan since he's been here, how much have you interacted, what your rapport is like with him?
Yeah, there's nobody better than Coach Khan. Just an unbelievable man, great leader of men, has done it at a high level for a long time. Just, he's like one of my best friends here, and just a lot of respect for him and his wife Haley and his two sons. So I mean, we get along great, both unselfish, no egos. So we're going to do what's best for this program and for Coach Sweeney.
Take one final one if anybody has one.
You gonna be okay with all this, us bugging you with dumb questions?
So yeah, it's part of it. I signed up for it, so for sure.
You gonna be on time on Mondays?
That I will.
Venables was
Yeah.